What is going on, everybody? So today we're going to be looking at PayPal. Okay, the stock PayPal might be a great time to invest in the company. Okay, so let's get right into it. So what is PayPal? PayPal is basically a digital payments company which enables its users to make digital payments or mobile payments. So basically users can hold money within their accounts and hold balances within their account. They can send and receive payments or even withdraw payments, right? And it allows merchants to basically accept credit and debit cards. So it's a very flexible platform that allows the online transaction of money. So basically what PayPal is doing is there's a new approach towards payments, right? It's the digitization of payments, right? Payments are becoming digital and they're going away from the money and the credit cards, right? The hand in hand, right? The physical form, and they're moving towards the digital form, right? Digital form of payments. So let's get right into the first point, why PayPal might be a great time to invest in right now, okay? So the economy. The economy is changing. New markets are being formed and there's a new economy being formed, right? The new conditions and circumstances are affecting the economy in a way that's moving away from the past, okay? This virus that has transformed your economy and created a new changing economy. Okay? This virus has changed the way we go about our lives, right? It's made it more digital, right? Because we can't do many in-person stuff anymore because we can't be in close contact with other people. So we're moving to this digital aspect. So basically what's happening is the economy is changing, which is causing this movement towards the digitization, okay? The digitalization, okay? So this changing economy is due to the virus, and this is out of necessity, not out of wants. Normally people wouldn't want to move to all this digital forms, right? It would take much longer. It would maybe take 2, 3, 4, and 5 years for the things to change as we're seeing them now, right? So things are speeding up more quickly, right? And we're moving to the digitalization trends, okay? So basically we're changing more to this digital form. So just looking at our economy and some numbers, right? So 14 million people have filed for unemployment benefits, okay? So and the unemployment rate is greater than the Great Depression. So many people are asking, shouldn't the economy be doing terrible? So the economy did bottom out into around March, right? The economy was doing pretty bad then. The economy was in a whole shutdown, right? Everything was at a standstill point. Now things have ramped up since back then, right? So the economy was at a standstill. The pandemic was at its highest at that time. The fear in the markets were very high, and that's what caused the economy to really drop down, right? So as time went on, April and May, and now we're at the end of May, things have gotten a lot better, right? So why is the market doing good? Well, that's because of a few factors, right? Because people are saying, shouldn't it be doing much worse because it's worse than the Great Depression? Well, the government is helping in a big way, right? The stimulus checks are keeping all the people afloat, and it's giving consumers and small businesses a lifeline, right? There's going to be some demand, right? If people don't have money, they can't spend money, and like we know, one person's income is another person. One person's spending is another person's income, right? So basically, what that means, if somebody's not spending money because they don't have money, the other person is not getting money, right? So the merchants aren't getting their money to come and buy stuff again and use their spending, and then use what they made to spend and then get more income and then spend more money, right? So this is ultimate loop, right? That's not happening because nobody has money. So with the government printing on more money and helping the bond markets and all that, the economy is improving, right? Because the government has these safety nets in place, so that's not as bad as the Great Depression. Because as we know from the Great Depression, the government didn't do anything, right? So when the government doesn't help, it gets very bad, right? And especially during a pandemic, people don't have money, and there's this virus going on, there's this epidemic going around, then there's a big problem, right? So basically, since the government is helping, things are at ease right now, okay? But still, why is the markets doing so good? Well, that has something to do with the supply and demand, right? So in order for the markets to be doing good, the buyers have to have a high demand for the stocks and the economy, right? There has to have a very bullish perspective, right? If there's no demand and people are in fear, they're not going to be investing within the market, okay? So what does this mean? This means that people are bullish in the market, right? So that the investors are becoming bullish in the futures of the economy and where the economy is heading, not the problems that's occurring right now, right? They believe next year that things are going to be great, right? The future, from what the changes are occurring right now, is going to have large impacts in the future, right? Especially with the digital world, right? So these are going to be our tech stocks, right? Tech stocks such as PayPal are going to be doing great because people know there's going to be further demand after the pandemic. Because why? Generally people aren't, unless they need to, they're not going to be forced to use such digital things, right? People don't want online education. They want in-person education. People don't want to use online forms of whatever e-commerce, right? They want to use in person, right? It's just general trend. Whatever they're used to, they're going to continue to do. But now when they're forced out of the necessity because of the virus to move towards this digital form, right? The tech stocks and such are going to be benefited because of the change in economy, right? The change in taste. So basically there's this change in taste in the economy due to the pandemic that's currently going around. And in fact, Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, even said that 2 years of digital transformation have occurred within the past 2 months, okay? And others are saying that the digital transformation is upwards of 5 years, okay, just within the time span of the pandemic. So basically, we are moving a lot faster due to this necessity that we have to move online because we cannot be in contact with other people, right? So this pandemic has caused a change in the economy because we cannot just be around other people and surround each other. So all these different forms such as education and medicine and entertainment have all moved to online and digital forms, which is ultimately this change in economies due to the virus is basically helping PayPal and the digitization of payments, right? It's just boosting their sector of the economy, right? Which is really helping increase their revenues and also their margins at the end of the day. So let's jump down into the third point that is helping the digitization of payments and ultimately leading to the growth of the stock of PayPal, okay? And what makes PayPal a great investment at this time. So that's going to be non-contact transactions, okay? So basically during this pandemic, when we go to the store, when we go to the restaurant, we don't want to have any contact, right? And this is going to be moving forward as these things become more common and as business goes back to usual. And in most states of the country, this is starting to happen, right? Business is starting to proceed as normal. All businesses are starting to open up now, depending on the state and area you are in and how badly affected it is, right? So basically, we're going to move towards this no contact transactions, right? Where people don't really want to get into contact with people. And since they have the experiment of being on PayPal and using their interface, a lot more people have the experience. They're most likely going to continue to use this throughout their stores and when they're buying stuff and making purchases. So this can tell us that the growth that PayPal is experiencing is not only short-term, but it's long-term, right? This is helping its users not only grow its user base and its usage and engagement for the short term, but it's helping to expose more and more people and more users to what the PayPal interface is really like, right? It's helping to gain long-term customers through this times of pandemic, right? So basically, these non-contact transactions are going to continue moving forward. Like the exposure that they've gained now since they had the virus, they're going to realize it's much more convenient to do online payments. It saves them time, it saves them money, and it's much more easier basically at the end of the day, and most importantly, it's safer, right? So people are going to be doing this for the majority of the time moving forward. This non-contact transactions, which is going to help boost PayPal's revenues and margins because there's more users and their engagements are increasing, right? So more money is flowing out and more money is coming in, right? So the more engaged you are within your account, that's going to help PayPal to continue to grow, get more users, and it's going to continue to get better and bigger, right? So that's basically going to help PayPal in a big way, the increase in non-contact transactions that are occurring in our day-to-day lives due to the pandemic. Okay, so this pandemic is kind of like a chain reaction which is spurring other events, right? And that's what we see that's really boosting PayPal stock. Like I said, PayPal was at $85 around March 23rd, and now it's trading around $155, okay? So now let's look at the fourth point, okay? So there's 3 major shifts that Dan Schulman, the CEO and president of PayPal, pointed out, okay? There's 3 shifts that are going on. The first shift is going to be our physical to digital, okay? Markets are changing due to the virus. People are being exposed to new technologies and especially the tech stocks because of the virus, okay? They are being forced out of their original ways, which were the physical ways, okay? People would prefer to go to the store, try clothes on, go to apparel stores, right? And get those discounts there instead of shopping online. But now they've been forced away from there out of their own safety due to the pandemic, and they're being moved to digital forms, right? The e-commerce, right? So people are moving online out of necessity. So things like entertainment, all right? Education, and even medicine, right? They're going telecommunication and all now. So everything is moving to this digital form for people's safety, right? We don't want to be in contact with people. But what this is doing is not only the short-term effect during this virus and when this virus ends, whenever that is, it's also the long term, because now more and more people, now that they're working from home, they're like, oh yeah, this isn't that bad, I can do more things online. The shift is going to occur, right? It's just occurring at a faster pace because people are doing it out of necessity, not out of want, right? They're doing it because they have to for their own safety. And now that they're being exposed to these new forms and new standards of life, right? They're going to get used to it, and it's going to be more convenient at the end of the day. It's just the shift and transformation that's what takes the time and effort, right? So this shift from the physical being towards the digital side, or the digital perspective, is what's going to help boost the digitization of payments and going to help PayPal to continue to grow moving forward. Now let's look at the second shift. Second shift is going to be in that of the fundamentals of retail, right? Retail is completely being revamped. Everything is moving online. Macy's no more can afford to have this big building, right? Has to pay for heating and cooling, has to pay for all the employees there, has to pay for all the furnishing, has to pay for everything every second of the day there. Whereas online, there's much less overheads, right? They don't have to pay for as many employees. They don't need so much inventory, right? They don't need any inventory just sitting around there for years and nobody picking it up. So there's a lot of savings that go into online, right? So when they're moving towards an e-commerce form, the entire fundamentals of retail, right? The entire fundamentals change, right? So when things move online, obviously their payments are also going to move online, right? In order to buy something online from a retail store, you're going to have to put your payments in online. So obviously this will help boost PayPal, right? So the second point was that the economies are changing and that the fundamentals of retail is being altered in big ways. And now the third and final point is that payments are on the rise. Digital payments are on the rise, right? So digital payments are changing in a big way. Why? Because everybody's going online, and with the trend towards online, obviously people are going to need to pay each other, and consumers and merchants are going to need to pay one another. So basically, there's going to be this rise of digital payments that are going on. It's a complete shift in the economy, right? So that's basically the three major shifts, which is going to be our physical to our digital change. Then we got our complete shift and revamp in our fundamentals of retail. And then we had the rise of digital payments as a result of those two, right? So we can see our changing economy, which leads to the digitization of payments, which helps boost PayPal not only right now during the pandemic, but during the long term. So to see the rise of the digital payments, let's specifically look at PayPal, right? So on average, PayPal is averaging around 250,000 new accounts created each day, which is a pretty substantial amount. And this month, they've had around 7.4 million increase in net users. Okay, so that's a pretty substantial amount. And this quarter, they're expecting around 15 to 20 million increase in net users, which is again a pretty substantial amount. But when we hear this, what Dan Schulman said is that not only has the amount of users increased a big amount in comparison to previous records, but it's actually the engagement and the usage of the accounts have increased by 20%, okay? So people who are using the account, there's 20% more transactions, money coming in and out. And that's where PayPal makes its money, right? That's where its revenue is going to start to go up. When people are using more accounts more actively instead of just letting their account sit. So maybe they have like $20 in their account and they never use it. Now money is coming in and out of their accounts. People are withdrawing, people are sending and receiving money. And that's where PayPal starts to build up their revenue and their margins get better and they make more profits, right? At the end of the day, when their engagement and usage on their platform increases, that's when their profits increase. Okay, so that's really the driving factor there, okay? And then out of that, of the people who created accounts during the time of the start of the pandemic to now to the present, they are using their accounts 30%, their engagement is 30% more than previous groups, right? So it's 30% more active usage compared to previous groups. So what does that tell us? That means during this time of virus, people are using their accounts much more, right? People are taking more, using digital payments more frequently, right? They're having more transactions digitally, which this is expected, but what does that mean for the long term? That means that people are more exposed now. People are using it more and they've got used to the system of digital payments and they're going to continue moving forward to continue to use them, right? So these are new people who just joined during the time of the pandemic. Their engagement has increased by 30% compared to groups before the pandemic started, right? So we can tell that the pandemic has spurred a positive growth, right? And more engagement and usage within PayPal, which will help to increase its profit margins at the end of the day and help its long-term outlook. Right? So let's look at the fifth point now. The fifth point is honey. So what is honey? So basically PayPal owns honey. And Honey's mission is to make money fair. They basically want to help the consumer to find the best priced item or the lowest priced item, right? So the most heavily discounted item that is available that the merchants are selling, right? So they try to get the most fair value by searching for all these discounts, right? So that's the ultimate goal of Honey, is to make it more fair for consumers and to find the best price for consumers, right? Helps merchants and it helps consumers because merchants can connect with their buyers at the end of the day. So basically it's good for both parties. And why is Honey so popular right now? But like I was saying before, there are 14 million people who are filing for unemployment benefits, right? So there's a huge amount of people. The unemployment rate is greater than the Great Depression, okay? It's so high right now that there's so many people without jobs that have to spend their money and devise their money very smartly, right? The little money that they're getting from unemployment benefits, right, the $600, and then the stimulus money around $2,000, they have to spend that money the best way possible, right? They have to devise their money in the best way possible. So that's why the stocks like Dollar General, Dollar Tree are really improving, are doing really well right now, because people are having to go to and pay lower prices, right, and shop at these cheaper thrift stores because they don't have that much money coming in, so they're having to be very smart with their money. So more people are moving to Honey now and searching for good deals and discounts so that they can better spend their money, right? And they're more value focused now than ever before, right? Obviously, when you're getting less money and you have to think about every purchase more, you're going to be more careful with everything. You're going to want more discounts, more coupons, and that's why people are moving to Honey. So ultimately, the revenue for Honey is increasing, which is helping PayPal because people are going to continue to use Honey. And at the end of the day, Dan Schulman said that Honey, since after the virus has started, the percent of users have increased by 180%. Okay, so after the pandemic has started, okay, 180% more users than previously. Okay, so that means more than doubled. Okay, the users just during this pandemic time. So that shows how cautious people are now with their money and how much value for money they have. And going forward, the demand of Honey is still going to be more than previously was. So Honey is another big revenue for PayPal, which is helping it to continue to grow during this time. Finally, let's look at the last thing. So the sixth point is that they have great morals and ethics. Okay, so Dan Schulman is doing a great job running the company, and basically they have great morals in place, okay, and ethics during this time. Especially during this time, there's this pandemic going around and things are not easy. A lot of people, like I was saying, unemployed, they don't have jobs, not stable. So before they were great, they were paying off everything, right? Everything they needed to be on. They were great customers. But now obviously there's times of uncertainty and people aren't all in the same boat, okay? A lot of people are struggling a lot more than others, okay? So the company knows that if some customers are struggling, we need to help them out. We need to give them a hand during this time. So they have great morals, right? Like, companies don't have to do this. They have no set provision that they have to do this, right? They just, as a company, are being very respectful and very nice and having great morals and ethics during this time of this need, right? That a lot of people, they would if they could, but they can't, right? They don't have a job. They don't have something to help them provide and pay for what they need, right? So basically, PayPal is spending $150 million to help reach out to these people and help them with their loans, and help be more lenient at the end of the day to these people, right? Not let this be such a big problem moving forward for them, okay? So basically, they're helping customers and consumers and small businesses with exchanges and returns and waiving fees and doing small things like that. But at the end of the day, it is a big upfront cost for PayPal, $150 million, like I said. But Dan Schulman and his company believes that the cost that the benefits that come from this of the long-term customers will outweigh the upfront cost, right? So basically, these customers will be so happy to continue to work with PayPal, right? So basically, what PayPal is doing is they're investing in long-term customers, and we have to always invest as investors into these type of companies who are looking at the long-term growth, right? They don't want what's good for them right now. They don't want the most money. What they want is a customer, as the basis, right? They want very positive reviews. They want long-term customers that will help them continue to grow down the road, right? So they're willing to give up money right now and put down upfront costs for the long-term growth. That's why PayPal is a great company, because they have great morals and ethics in place. Especially during this time, it's not easy for everybody. Everybody has different scenarios and cases and conditions going on. It's always good to have good morals in place and help those people who need it. And Dan Schulman is doing just that, and that's why I believe PayPal would be a great time to invest in right now. These 6 points are really what sell me on PayPal. So I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something. Thanks.